to 4 following 2 weeks of away game wins. Here to talk about the team's fortunes and a pair of victory Mondays is Alessandra Pontbriand, sportscaster at News for Jags. She joins us now by phone. Good morning, Alessandra.
Good morning. How was your Christmas?
It was a wonderful break from everything. It was lovely. And I understand that we're interrupting your vacation to some extent to join us, but we will show no mercy. Sorry about that.
Oh my gosh. For you guys, no problem at all. No, I'm excited. We had to talk about a Jaguars win again.
Yeah. Double back to back. So, first of all, just give us a little brief recap of the Broncos game. So, that was on the 21st, the previous Sunday. But what were your takeaways after that victory?
Well, the Broncos are the number one seed in the AFC right now. So, the fact that the Jaguars were able to go to the Broncos Stadium, which, by the way, you're talking about the climate, the altitude, one being, one issue for the Jaguars, which obviously was no problem. And then that's a very rowdy fan group. Obviously, they were riding, I think it was a 12-game win streak at that point, and the Jaguars snapped it. And that finished, that was a huge, huge win for the Jaguars. I mean, you're able to take down the number one seed in the AFC, which they still hold right now, but the Jaguars are inching closer to that number one overall seed. And they were able to really put themselves on the map and really prove, in my opinion, to the league that this is a whole new team. These are guys that have a lot of confidence in themselves. And these are guys that, you better watch out, especially Trevor Lawrence. I mean, during the Broncos game, he was able to use his arm to score, it was 5 total touchdowns, I believe. Yesterday, it was his legs scoring 2 touchdowns against the Colts, which really helped them, especially late in the game.
So that was followed up by this victory just yesterday with the Colts. And I'm curious what you think. I mean, so they're now primed to win, as we said, their first AFC South title since 2022. And they are, on the verge of this. What do they need to do to really lock that up? And what did you see in yesterday's gameplay that, either gave you a sense of encouragement or things to be watching for?
Yeah, well, first, the Jaguars, like you said, they can win the AFC South title for the first time in a couple of years if they beat the Titans at home this coming Sunday. Now, they could have actually won the division title this week, but the Texans beat the Chargers, so they have to wait another week. And that Texans win also knocked out the Colts out of the playoffs. So it's kind of the Trevor Lawrence and co. It's kind of, in their hands to be able to beat the Titans, which obviously they did earlier this season. The Titans are not a good team once again this year, so that shouldn't be any issue. That game is also 1 p.m. kickoff at Everbank Stadium on Sunday. But, Trevor said after the game, quote, "We're a very confident group. We feel like, why not us? We feel like it should be us." And I think you can see in the way that they were playing, especially they were down, 10-0, and that didn't at all, they didn't look defeated at all. And then Trevor Lawrence came back. He answered with a 4-yard rushing touchdown. And then he was able to score another rushing touchdown in the third quarter. But it really was Cam Little. I mean, you're got to talk about Cam Little. He kicked a 34-yard game-time field goal, a 42-yard go-ahead field goal, and then a 53-yard field goal to extend the lead later in the game. So, it was kind of a full team effort. And then, obviously they sealed a victory with intercepting Riley Leonard in the end zone. So, you kind of had winning plays from all sides of the ball, and that's what you really need, especially as you're heading into the playoffs in just a couple weeks.
And I saw that Trevor Lawrence is now second only to Josh Allen, Buffalo's Josh Allen, when it comes to rushing touchdowns. He had another couple yesterday. So you talk about, they're facing against the Titans. Titans are obviously not a favored team, pretty poor performance. But if they were to lose and the Texans won, it could change their fortune. So tell us what hurdle remains in terms of locking down that title.
I think the only hurdle, I don't think, I think the Jaguars are just so confident right now. I don't think the Titans will be able to stop them. I mean, listen, the number one seed in the AFC couldn't stop them last week. The Colts, which is a good team, even though they've been on a losing streak, they couldn't stop them. I really don't think anyone's going to be able to stop the Jaguars at this point. And they're the confidence is just so contagious, right? And so when you have that and you're able to win in all phases of the game, you're talking about Trevor Lawrence, he obviously is very good at throwing passing touchdowns recently. He can also run the ball and for a score. So I mean, you have a dual threat quarterback there. You have a defense that is just absolutely outstanding. And then you have a really, really reliable kicker. So if you do have to, kick quite a few field goals, you have someone that can do that. So I don't think anyone's stopping them. I think they're going to be able to win the title next week, and they'll be on to the playoffs.
And they're going to have a hometown crowd, which I'm guessing will be pretty packed out, given their performance right around now.
Oh, I would assume. I mean, listen, it's the last regular season game of the season. And by the way, you got to talk about Liam Cohen. He's the first head coach to win 12 games after taking over a team that won 4 or less games the previous season. So he's just having literally a historic time, especially first year as the head coach of the Jaguars.
Well, Alessandra Pontbriand, back to your vacation. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk
Thanks,
to you again
guys.
next week. Okay.
Yeah, of course.